I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
Andrew McCart, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I think the camera picked that up. You just said I'm your good friend, is that right?
Oh, you've always been my good friend, and then you're my good friend, and I'm your good friend.
Exactly, that's it. Best friends, as they say. Billy Nelson, yeah, I've been here. We've been here 2 days. I'm at a different hotel, and it's took me 2 days to find you, to track you down. I found you. I've tracked you down. Got you on the interview. We've had the public workout yesterday. The weigh-in done. Big Martin always smiling, so you can't really read him if he's nervous, anxiety, happy. Well, he's always happy, but you know what I mean. He seems like he's only got one emotion, and that's just happiness. So how's he been these last 2 days?
Wait and see him tomorrow night. I've not looked very happy. No, he's a very cool, calm customer. He knows all the hard work's been done, so it's just a matter of getting the hard work and getting the rounds in tomorrow night and doing what he's best at.
Igor Stravanowski, I hope I've said that right. You're going to correct me, I know you will, but yeah, they both weighed in at 20 stone. I mean, two 20 stone monsters going at it. I mean, what can we expect from these two guys then?
Well, I know what you'll see from Martin Bakole is fantastic skill set and combination punching and lateral movement, fast feet. An elite boxer. Stravanowski is much slower, punches hard. He's a good solid performer. I just think if the two of them turn up in their A game, he'll get stopped.
We all know that he's obviously a Ukrainian Olympian. You just need to look at the way they prep their Olympians. You just need to look at just the two top guys right now, Usyk and Lomachenko. They are a very, very skilled outfit, the Ukrainian Olympic team, and he was a Ukrainian Olympian. So, like you said there, he is going to bring it. He is going to bring his A game, and he is a tough opponent. But you obviously expect Martin Bakole's A game is a lot better than what Igor can bring.
Well, in fairness, we fought the Olympic gold medalist in the last fight, and look what he done to him. So anything below that, he should be doing this likewise, shouldn't he? On paper, but boxing's not done on paper. It's done in the boxing ring. That's all about Saturday night. If he's put the work in, Stravanowski, it'll be a good fight. I looked at him, and I've seen a lot of weaknesses in his fights as well that he's fought. I mean, he's went the distance in a close fight against Kevin Johnson. Martin played with him and stopped him in 5. You know, and he's also took a distance with a tough camel, Sokolowski.
Is this a potential ban asking for Martin? Obviously, Martin is so close to that world title shot. He's number 2 with the WBA, and we've seen some fighters in the past that have took their eye off the ball a little bit and looked at them guys at the top and thought about them guys at the top, and like I said, you took their eye off the ball. But Martin just said to me there in the interview, he said, I ain't speaking about them guys. I've got a job to do on Saturday night. I'm not going to go for the knockout. I'm going to enjoy it. If the knockout comes, it comes. So very, very mature answer. But for you looking forward though for Martin, he wins this fight. Obviously you're his manager and his coach. He wins this fight. Who do you want next, and where do you go next?
There's no next. Saturday's next. We get this job done. It's been installed into Martin for day one. One fight at a time. It's all the press that talk about who's next. There's no next if we don't win. We're confident of victory. We're confident of beating anybody. You know, I mean, it's been 5 years since anybody's lost in my gym. Nearly 5 years. So we're a confident gym. Good bunch of lads. We all support each other, and we're looking to put on a good performance Saturday night. And whatever comes after that will come after that.
Do you think though? I know obviously you can talk about this, but because Martin needs to stay focused on the fight, and so do you. But you can give me a good answer here. Do you want a Dubois next? Is that sort of the name that Martin needs to propel him? It's like a slingshot up to them guys at the top, the 4 guys, and we all know who the main 4 guys are: Usyk, Fury, Wilder, and Joshua. Does he need a Dubois?
Top 4. I don't think. I think Martin Bakole should be there before Anthony Joshua now. I genuinely do. I think.
But if you look at the body of work and who Joshua's faced, would you? Yeah, do you know what I mean?
His resume is better than Martin's, of course it is. But as it stands now, based on their last performances, Martin's ahead of Anthony Joshua, ahead of Wilder. In my opinion. Well, we'd fight either of them tomorrow, next, no problem. There was talk about Wilder, that disappeared. You know, Daniel Dubois knows what he'll get off Martin BAKOLE. And I'm not belittling Daniel, but he knows what he'll get. Ask Shane McGuigan's dad what will happen to him. He's seen it. He's seen what happened.
But that's the thing, though. Again, I'm probably sick and tired of talking to you about this until it happens. Like Martin, even yesterday at the Public World Cup, we had a lot of Polish people, Polish kids, and Polish fighters come up and asking Martin for a picture. So I mean, he's made quite a name for himself, but he just needs that fighter, that name, bigger name, to sort of propel himself mainstream, if that makes sense.
Well, in fairness, he came over here after his only defeat against Michael Hunter at 3 weeks' notice and boxed Marius Wack in front of 9,000 people, and he stopped Marius Wack quicker than Klitschko, quicker than Pervotkin. Did they get any credit for that? Zero. It's because he's Congan. See if Martin came from London or Birmingham or Manchester, the people will be all over him. They really would. They fought for a world title by now. You know that's true. I know that's true. That's why we're over the moon to sign a fantastic deal with Boxer. That's worth 7 figures, well into 7 figures for Martin, and their platform will boost his profile massively and get the big fights for him.
You know yourself, it takes one punch in the heavyweight division and it can change everything. We just seen it recently with Joyce Zhang, and Martin has had his loss to Michael Hunter. Like, a heavyweight division is a dangerous division to be in for any heavyweight, so Saturday night he can't slip up.
Not at all. No. Our focus is on Saturday night against Stravinitsky. That's how you pronounce it. And we're we're confident. Of course he's confident. He's a confident fighter. He feels that he could beat anybody. And I get that vibe too, off him. I know a good fighter for a bad fighter, Andy. You know that. We just have to do the business on Saturday and see where it takes us. But as you said, would we fight Daniel Dubois next? Yes. Is there anybody in the world that he wouldn't fight next? No. As long as if it's one of the world champions, obviously for a world title, but if it's not one of the world champions, it's got to be for something that will get him another step towards the world title, like a final eliminator.
He's number 2 in WBA. Is the number 1 spot vacant? Is that
Wilder got somehow moved from 3 to 1 for whatever reason, and he also got moved from 6 to 1 in the WBC without fighting.
Well, since you mentioned Wilder, you've mentioned Joshua and Fury and Usyk. Now, I haven't spoken to you about this, but we've spoke about it. That tournament out in Saudi Arabia, well, not a tournament, it's like a 2-fight thing where it looks like it's going to be Fury versus Usyk and Joshua versus Wilder on the same card. 2 mega fights like that, especially 2 heavyweight mega fights like that on the same card. Unseen, I think, since I've been following the sport and since I've looked at it. Probably you feel the same, Billy, but yeah, your thoughts on it?
Well, my question is, why are the 2 champions fighting each other and the 2 challengers? Wilder and AJ haven't got a belt. Surely one of them should be fighting either one of the champions, and then those winners fight. Listen, ideally, in an ideal world, for somebody who trains and manages a guy that's in the top 2, I'd like all the belts to be relinquished. They don't need the belts to gain the mega money that they're getting over in Saudi Arabia, and I do believe it will happen, because I've heard about it for a couple of months, in fairness. But why don't they give it all the belts, and then there's 4 belts available for 8 guys, another 8 guys to compete against, for 4 titles. Let them go for the 4 titles and see the 2 guys that could be in the semi-final before they fight the semi-final. Determine an organisation that they want to fight for should they get beat. All the 4 guys, if they want to go and fight, say like if talking, say just off the cuff, if Tyson Fury were to say, well, if I lose in the semi-final, I want to fight for the WBC again. Then whoever fights for the WBC, Tyson fights the winner of that. At least that gives them something to fall back on. And then, but you'll get 4 new world champions. The belts are fragmented. And we can start getting fights instead of belts getting tied up for... How long have they been tied up? It's too long. Rematch clause is mandatory. That needs 100% to get scrubbed. On a voluntary, that's okay, because you're giving somebody the opportunity to fight for a world title. You're giving them that opportunity. But as a mandatory challenger, you've earned the right for it. And I know people say, oh, but if Martin Bakole won the world title and Big Gary was want to get a rematch clause that was worth much more millions of pounds, he says you go for it as well. Well, no, because I'm a man of morals and principles. If I don't think it's right at this end, I won't think it's right at the other end.
Well, like I say, it's as a boxing fan, I like the idea of it, and probably, like you say, they need an undercard. So who knows? You might get a Martin Bakole against a Dubois out there or a Joyce out there, because they might just keep it heavy on the card. So we don't know what's going to happen next.
That is what I've heard. I've heard the undercard there'll be maybe 5 or 6 fights, and everything's going to be heavyweight. So you could get Hrgovic versus another. You could get Martin Bakole versus Daniel Dubois even for his regular title. You know, there's other big fights out there. There's loads of big fights out there, you know.
One final one for me then, obviously we're out here in Poland. You're no strangers to travelling with Martin to different countries and putting on a show. No different this time up?
No different wherever he goes. Poland, France, England. Just, we want to come here, put a good performance on. If the stoppage happens, it happens. If it doesn't, we win, we move on.
Bigger and better things next.
That's what we're in it for, mate. The bigger and better. Hopefully it materialises. It won't be through the lack of effort and what he's put in the gym. If he shows half of what he's done in the gym, I'm sure that'll be enough for tomorrow.
Well, I did say that was a final one, but I do have to pick you up on something. I can remember on the plane, Billy Nelson said, "I'm going to take you out for dinner, my treat, son." I think that was the word. Take you out for dinner, my treat, son, was the actual words. Still going to hold you to that, Billy?
Andy, you're more than welcome to come out from me on it. I know you're Scotland's tightest reporter, and
Scotland's only tightest reporter.
and anything for a freebie, but you're more than welcome, pal. You can come and join me. I'll phone Mrs. Nelson and let her know that I'm getting into the overdraft.
Billy, as always, you know it, mate. A pleasure for your time, mate. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, Billy.
Refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,